So real quick, talking about sentencing guidelines, who's come up with that so far in a 12 to 18-month recommendation?
Well, that's pursuant to the agreement of the parties. Under Rule 11 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, we're required to basically give our best estimate of what the sentencing exposure will be under the sentencing guidelines, but ultimately it's up to the court to determine the appropriate application of sentencing guidelines and to impose the sentence in the case. And as the judge made clear today, should her calculations be different than ours, that is the parties, then Mr. McFadden will not have the ability to withdraw his plea of guilty.
What kind of factors went into figuring that 12 to 18 months?
Largely, in this case, as in all fraud cases, is loss amount. So it's the amount of dollars that were defrauded from the taxpayers here.
What happened that he would all of a sudden turn around and pled guilty? I mean, what kind of evidence did you present, or did something happen that changed that?
Well, it was just an acknowledgement that he was guilty. That's why he pled guilty. If he didn't plead guilty, he had no business. If he wasn't guilty, he had no business pleading guilty. So I think it was just he had an opportunity to review the information that we provided and the evidence that we collected during the course of our investigation. He reviewed that with his attorney and made a determination, as he said in court today, that it was in his best interest to plead guilty.
What did you think of what he said in court?
He was under oath. I think he told the truth. I think he told what happened.
Was there, in this plea agreement, I mean, is he offering up any other information or people, like I was asking for, in regards to your case? Again,
I'm not going to comment on any other aspects other than what's been set forth in the written plea agreement as filed today, and this was said in court.
Is there any difference between a public servant as opposed to a private citizen, either in how you prosecute or the sentencing, or is it just based on?
I don't know that it's in how we prosecute, but public servants take an oath. They take an oath to uphold the law and to serve their constituents. And when they don't do that, our entire system of government is endangered. We are a nation of laws, and when people fail to follow the law and to break the law, especially those who are in public office, it endangers our very democracy. So I think it is important that public officials, when they commit crimes, be held accountable, and that's what we did today.
Just the entire CCP contract, it looks like is the fraudulent amount, not his 75% of it, right? It looks like the entire contract is where he came up with a fraud total.
Well, to the extent there was no allegations that CCP wasn't involved in any of this. I mean, they had someone come to them, said that he had an area of expertise, that would allow him to provide services under a contract. We have every reason to believe that they had no reason to know that he was going to commit fraud in providing them basically fake invoices or false inserts to be included in their invoices.
But it would be, typically it would be the entire contract. That's the amount of the fraud, even though he only got...
Well, that was the amount used for purposes of relevant conduct in the plea agreement today, so yes, $87,500.
As I said before, I came in a little late, but some of the things that you described, the crime that he committed, at first, because I didn't know any of the details, I thought, well, maybe it's an oopsie, there's one thing that didn't know, but it sounds like there was a series of things you were talking about providing after school or summer camp, or...
Yes, there was a number of services which were either falsely reported or grossly exaggerated. Again, I'll defer to Mr. Resnick as to what was admitted to in the plea agreement.
Yeah, basically what he admitted to is that he had a contract and he was supposed to provide services. He did not provide adequate consideration for that contract. However, he prepared some information that found its way on an invoice saying that he did all these things and that CCP did all these things. That was either false or grossly exaggerated, and that resulted or induced the Roster Housing Charity to make that the payment to CCP, and ultimately Mr. McFadden got his money from his contract.
Can you go over some of those? I know you mentioned up there, but...
Well, I think he admitted that he didn't submit grants. In the invoice it said that grants were submitted on behalf of the RHC. No grants were submitted. There was an after-school program. I think he exaggerated in the amount of work that he did for that, as well as a laundry business. It's our contention that the cell tower thing was something that, was just a few phone calls. So just again, the bottom line is it just wasn't adequate consideration done for the contract, and he made it look like there was adequate consideration when there wasn't, and that induced the payment to be made.
I can, two questions. One, it sounded as if whomever, I don't know who it is, whoever the attorney for RHC was, questioned when this sort of broad invoice came in from CCP, and basically said, we need more details over the work you did. I guess, is that accurate?
Yeah, I don't think I should comment on that other than what was said in court.
And then two, can you explain any more of this laundry business thing?
There's not much more to explain.
Okay, thanks.
And this was over a period of 3 years, you said?
Now, this contract was signed in the summer of 2015, and the payments were made in August and in December of 15. So it was just
The 3 years involved the tax returns. Thank you.
Thanks.